still watching. If you are just joining, karibuni sana. Be sure to watch the 2 previous clips from before. This is part 3 of my self-discovery journey. In this video, I'll be addressing depression, and I'll be addressing my self-healing journey. Again, I am no mental health expert, so I'll be talking about the things that have helped me heal and grow as a person. We should all just acknowledge that people have different healing processes, and yeah, that's it, folks. So part 3. So looking back now, I feel like I was always depressed, but I never wanted to fully address my issues. I was a very angry child growing up, and again, that's just with other things I've addressed, like sexual assault, bullying, and so forth. And it got to a point where my anger would sometimes be misdirected to certain people, be it friends and or family. I first tried to commit suicide at the age of 10, just before my 11th birthday. And the people closest to me do not understand, and they mocked me. And to a certain extent, again, I understood what I was doing, but at the same time, I did not understand what I was doing. All I knew was that I was in pain, and I saw death as an answer. Fast forward to a couple years later, I tried to commit suicide again. And I've tried to commit suicide 3 times, long story short. So yeah, it's been hard, and I'm still trying to recover. We thank the heavens that I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and I thought that death would not be a solution, and that death would hurt my loved ones if I happened to leave this earth. Now again, I'm not judging anybody who's been suicidal. I am not judging those who've lost loved ones to suicide. I've lost loved ones to suicide. And again, people just need to understand that this is an illness, and sometimes people are not strong enough to come out of this dark place. I got clinically diagnosed in 2017 with severe clinical depression. And what had happened was my mother came back home from work during the day, which she usually doesn't, and she felt like something was just wrong with me. And she came home to me bawling my eyes out, and she had to carry me out my bed like a little baby. And she tried and convince me to do things. I remember that day she had said, let's go do our nails, because usually that's what we do together. And I was just not in the mood for anything. So depression made me lose a lot of my interests. A lot of things that I loved doing, I just thought I didn't need to do anymore. My self-worth had greatly decreased. I didn't see myself in a good light. I always thought that people were always against me. I thought people were just trying to hate me. But again, it was just my dark thoughts clouding my mind. So my mom took me to see a specialist, and it was not enough for discussion. It was, you need to go. When I first saw the specialist, it was difficult. I refused to speak. The specialist had brought in a woman, hoping that, because the first specialist was a man, had brought in a woman hoping that I would open up, but nothing had worked. So eventually they had prescribed me a medication, which I ended up not taking because it gave me so many mood swings, and I was like, I don't need more problems in my life. For those of you who've been on antidepressants, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I've just found different coping mechanisms. Now at first, I did have horrible coping mechanisms. I turned it to alcohol as my savior, but obviously it really didn't do any good. You know, I'd be numb for a few hours, but the next morning I just wake up feeling worse. It was more like a temporary feeling. But I eventually got over that. And then as of now, I talk to people. I have certain people on speed dial. Like if anything hits the fan, you know, this is the person I'm calling. And I know these are people I can rely on and people I can trust on and people who I know will not judge me but will listen to me. I've spoken to a couple other specialists and, you know, just keeping that journey going forward. However, music has helped me a lot. I love music. Again, as aforementioned in my previous videos, I am a musician. So sometimes it's just playing something or just listening to something, and I just felt like it made me more relaxed and more calm. Other times I just don't feel like dealing with people. You know, some days are harder than others. Some days I just can't get out of bed, and it affects me sometimes. You know, like I don't want to say my situation is as bad, but it's still there. I'm not going to deny it. So other times I just switch off my phone and just knock out and sleep. You know, I just escape for a little bit, sleep, wake up, feel better, take a nice cold shower, and, you know, feel better. As they say, what do they say? Cold shower is good for the soul sometimes. But yeah, other times I cook. Like I just find things that I love doing to help me distract myself, you know, from falling back into negative thoughts. So my message really is find yourself. You know, it's okay to hit a brick wall. I know I slacked a lot. There were times in school where I wasn't doing as well because of certain things, but I had to come to realization that I can't always blame everything on my mental health. Like there needs to come a time, and only when you're ready, there needs to come a time where you can finally accept the situation, figure out ways of working and bettering yourself, and, you know, moving forward. Now, it's not easy for a lot of people, and I'll be the first one to say it. I'm someone who's tried to commit suicide 3 times. You know, I'm someone who would lash out on people, like my loved ones, and they would never understand where I'm coming from. But, you know, take your time. No one's rushing you. Again, your journey is according to your own clock. You know, like control the things that you can control now, and then eventually you'll start seeing progress. A lot of people just say, oh no, you know, you're probably just going through this, that, and third. And personally, just growing up in an African community, I felt like this did not make my situation any better because Africans really look down on mental health. And I feel like this is a discussion that needs to be had in our communities, because not too many people believe in this. You know, even with therapy, at first I was very resistant because I thought it was a taboo, you know, or I'd have people just telling me, you know what, just pray to God about it. But there's so much about praying to God about something and being hopeful and faithful about it. You know, like you can talk to God, but like you need to have an intention within and behind your prayer. Now again, I do get people are not religious or spiritual, so everybody has different coping mechanisms. My message out there to people struggling is you are loved, you are strong, you will get through this. Nobody's perfect, you know, run your own race. Stop looking at what others are doing. And I know especially young adults, we have a habit of comparing our successes with others and measuring our success with others. But what someone else could be doing probably isn't your calling, you know? Or maybe the universe has something bigger planned for you. So keep fighting. If no one's told you this, I hope I'll be the first one to tell you, you are a warrior and you will get through this. You know, if some of us have and are still coping and are still trying to get through this, let us be the ones to tell you that it's going to be okay. You know, confront your emotions. It's okay to confront your emotions. And that's something I had an issue with again. Like, I've never really been a vulnerable person. So, well, in the last couple of years, you know, I would always mask my emotions. And I felt like as soon as I just let my guard down, I just felt more free. You know, I felt liberated. I felt like a heavy load was just lift off my shoulders and I could just relax and breathe. So yeah, thanks again for watching. This is the last and third part of my self-discovery journey, and you know, just knowing myself, who I am. I consider myself more confident, strong-minded. You know, I'm a lover. I love people. I love meeting people, and so forth. So I hope that covers a lot of questions people had. If you do have more questions or comments, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but at the end of my videos, at the very bottom, I have like my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram handles. So reach out to me there. I like to conversate with people. So yeah, as always, peace and love. Until next time.